Hey, what's up, guys, girls, and aliens of the universe? My name is Blake, and I am starting a channel called Too Old for Gaming. Let's start by introducing myself. I'm 33 years old, and I love video games. I've loved video games since I was a little boy. One of the first systems I ever received was a NES or Nintendo, and I'll never forget how magical it was, no matter how many times I had to blow on the cartridge or press the reset or hit the power button specific ways. But when I finally got that Nintendo to fire up and I could play that on the TV, that was flat out incredible. And I was hooked ever since. From there on out, I would graduate from console to console. Shout out to Diddy Kong Racing, probably one of my favorite racing games of all time. Who gets to play flying a plane? That was incredible, huh? And then from there on, I worked my way all the way up till Xbox. And at Xbox, I would say my gaming changed substantially. I was introduced to my first major RPG, which was Fable. And Fable was unbelievable. The fact that you had the control over, the good things that you would do versus the bad things. And it was just, I mean, if any of you haven't played that game or there's a remake of it out there somewhere, I would completely recommend Fable. And of course, with that Xbox, I also discovered my first-person shooter, which was Halo, and through the Bungie series, and Halo was just incredible. At that stage, to be able to shoot in that first-person view and playing tons and tons and tons of hours of that's when gaming really became less of a casual, fun interest, and because they were entertaining, and more of like, oh, this is really cool. I wonder, what I can do and how good I can get. And of course, at that stage, I was in college with Halo, and that's when the I had discovered, my neighbors had this cable running from their room across the hall to another room, and in each room was four dudes, and they were all playing their LAN 4v4 in Halo. And I discovered it, and I was like, man, sign me up? Where do I put my money? I'm in. I want in on this. And at that stage, that's when competitive multiplayer really was on my radar, and I wanted as much of it as I could get. You had the BR, the sniper rifle, and that little hand pistol from Halo, and they were just unbelievable. It was just so unbelievable for me at that stage. And I remember, when we were playing Halo with me and my friends, I mean, the highest rank you could get at the time that I remember was a level 50. And when you got level 50 on Halo, you had achieved something. I mean, I know that millions of people probably have done it and whatnot, but to me at that stage where I was in my gaming, 50 was the goal that I was going to continue to grind and grind and grind until I could get it. And I was pretty good. I mean, I could easily get to level 40, 45 in that range fairly quickly, and then that 45 and up, that's where the real grind came in for me, and where my experience was. But it didn't matter. I mean, no matter how hard the grind was, it was so fun and so just entertaining and addictive, because you were always trying to get better and better and better and better, and it just was this unbelievable set of things I was trying to achieve that I couldn't. There was nothing else in the world that was important to me at that stage, because I just was trying so hard to be competitive in that gaming. And then, from there on out, I did hit my 50. That was cool. That was a huge accomplishment for me in the Halo series, is when you hit 50. In fact, I remember when I did hit it, I found it hilarious, because I wasn't, at the time when I did hit it, I just, I didn't play. I didn't play for like a week. I had to like marvel at this accomplishment of like, you know, 50? What? This is crazy. And so we got to that stage of it, and then of course, after I was done, staring at my 50 trophy on my gamer tag, then I ended up playing my first game, which I lost. Of course, I lost my 50, and the grind started all over again. It's what I get. Once you earn it, you just got to rock it and then continue moving on. But from that stage on, I continued to play Bungie, all of Bungie's Halo series, which I believe was like 3 or 4 of them, to that point. And then at that point, I was kind of done. The only reason I was continuing on that Xbox was because of the fact that I really enjoyed that Halo series. And so after that was kind of done, I chose to go to the PlayStation and just to see what the PlayStation was all about. Because you had, back in that time, you had, not that it's that far back, but back in that time, you had, the PlayStation exclusives, and then you had the Xbox exclusives, and it was just a point where companies weren't. It was all competition versus merging kind of as one. And hopefully, and one day in the future, no matter what platform you're on, you'll all be able to play on the same server. That would be an incredible feat, but who knows? Anyways, moving on from there, after I got the PlayStation, I ended up getting into like the Call of Duty series, the early stages of it, especially the Modern Warfare. That was a lot of fun for me because it was definitely a reminder of Halo. It was that first person competitive multiplayer online matchmaking. And of course, Call of Duty was really unique because you could drop down like assistants and radars and things that would help you and your teammates. And of course, the ultimate win, which was the nuke, 25 kills straight, you were able to drop a nuke without dying, which was that was the goal. That was the 50 of Call of Duty to me at my time. If I was going to continue playing Call of Duty, I had to set out to hit that nuke, and I was able to achieve it. I don't know the speed of which I was able to achieve it, but I achieved it. And then the thing that I kind of started to notice the difference was is instead of kind of playing with similar talent, I would get pooled up, especially on these huge Call of Duty maps, with a bunch of people that had no idea. And so you could camp and hide, and then getting a nuke kind of became the industry standard versus, and I was probably super campy. I'm sure everyone that did it was campy. But it was just crazy. It was just it just became, it didn't have that same zest and that same draw that Halo did because of it just seemed to be a little bit more manipulated for overall talent that I was going against. And then at that stage, I'd been playing a lot of that, but I met my wife and we started a family. And from there, I kind of put gaming on the back seat. I just chose to take care of life the best that I could and make sure that I was on the right tracks and taking care of things that I felt were valuable. But outside of that, I still had the inkling for gaming. I just wasn't able to achieve it at the rate that I was wanting to. So once life had gotten on track and we felt things were moving really well, I kind of was pleading my case to the effect of like, hey, I'm just thinking out loud here, but I would like to go back into the gaming scene. Everything seems to be going real well. And I was discussing with my wife, and we agreed on it. And so we got a PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 4 was so new at the time for us because I had been out of gaming for, I got the PlayStation 3 like right when it started, and then I kind of ceased on gaming until PlayStation 4 came out. Maybe a couple months after it came out, that's when I chose to go after it. But there was like, at least a 3 year window where I felt I wasn't playing that many games at the rate that I would have liked to, especially for a hobby and a habit and stuff like that. And so then, but from there, once we were on the PlayStation 4, it was very cool because I started to discover, well, the first thing I discovered was Destiny. And, I had looked up Bungie because I was like, I'm going to get back into it. I want to see what kind of games are out there. And there's so many games to choose from. It's almost overwhelming in a stage, but I was looking for a specific type. It had to be not Call of Duty because felt like I had already kind of gone through that Call of Duty era. And it just didn't appeal to me the way that the Halo did. So of course I see that Bungie had created on PS4 Destiny, and I am stoked beyond belief. Of course I download it, and about the time that I get on to Destiny is probably right after the House of Wolves had dropped in year one. I remember there was so much bitching because people were just like, yeah, this was supposed to be a year's worth of content that we knocked out in like a month or 2 months or something like that. But I didn't go through any of that. So I was pretty fortunate. I was able to get into Destiny after House of Wolves, and then mostly specifically, I mean, I love the storyline. That was a gas. And of course, I love the raids. Crota, uh, by all means, was one of my favorite. You could not. I mean, even with the current raids today, they're amazing raids. Every raid is really amazing. But if I had to pick a favorite, it was Crota, and especially the beginning. I mean, when you're running through all those Thrall and the first few times you don't even know where the hell the towers are at. You're just all your nerves are pumping, and it was just the time of my life running through that raid for the first time. And so that was very cool to do that with friends, and then of course we started doing matchmaking, and the more Crucible I got into, the more I was just like, this is unbelievable. And so from that stage on, that's where it's at. That's where I'm at now. I love Destiny. I cannot get enough of Destiny. I really look forward to continuing on the Destiny journey. And the big thing for me right now is I'm huge into Trials, and Trials was and is amazing. It's some of the um, funnest gameplay in the world, even though there's some lag and there's sweaties and all that kind of stuff. I am by no means the best player in Destiny, and I will never be that, because that's not what I'm setting out to set my goals for me. But what I would love to do is I would love to be able to go to the lighthouse on a consistent basis. I've been there once in year one, and I've been there twice in year two, and I have not been there so far in year three. And they took a lot of my work, some of my best work, to even get to there, and maybe even probably some carrying some from my clanmates. Two of my clanmates are just great guys, but they're Beatles, and they're absolutely deserving of their Beatles. So that was, and the Beatles is like the flawless symbol. I think the newest one now is like the sleek cat. But that's where I'm at. That's the journey where I'm at. I would love to, please tips and tricks and ideas you have to help me grow, and to get to the stage where I could definitely go on a consistent basis. And maybe it's some small tweaks. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I love Trials. Trials is so competitive and so fun. So that's the type of stuff that I'm going to be uploading. I definitely want to do some walkthroughs as well, such as like some Final Fantasy and some other games that I'd love to play. But I know right now most of this content will be probably Destiny heavy, and just getting in and getting to know you guys, and going from there. So hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and y'all have a great day. Thanks. Bye.